What do you get when two 15-year-olds are handed the keys to a little seafood market in 1956? A family-run empire that now seats over 3,000 guests, serves 2 million seafood lovers a week, and holds 4 Guinness World Records. It's not just a restaurant. It's a Southern California institution. So today, I'm going to share the story of how my family and I built the San Pedro Fish Market. Hey, I'm Mike Ungaro, and welcome to Fish Factor. I'm CEO, visionary, and business co-owner of the Kings of Fish TV series on Amazon Prime and the legendary San Pedro Fish Market. Under my leadership, we saw double-digit annual sales growth for over a decade and became the second most visited seaside attraction on the Western Seaboard, second only to SeaWorld. On this channel, you'll get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to run a multi-generational business that's been operating since 1956, the highs, the struggles, and the unique challenges of working with family. You'll see firsthand what it takes to keep a seafood empire thriving while also producing our TV series Kings of Fish, which you can watch right here on YouTube and on Amazon Prime. All right, so let's get back to 1956 to where it all began and how this small startup grew into what the San Pedro Fish Market is today. So the year's 1956, my dad is 15 years old, Henry Ungaro, senior. And his best friend, Tommy Maffatano, also 15. And my grandfather, Mackie, comes up to them and he says, "You know what, guys? I'll pay for you to go to school, or you can go to work. It's your choice. I'm going to give you the choice." They go, "We don't like school. We want to work." "Great. I'm opening a small fish market. We're going to take over a place called Vista Seafood. It's on the corner of 9th and Myler in San Pedro, where they all lived. After school, you're going to come over there and you're going to run this place." And that's what they did. They ran it. They worked it. And they brought all their friends in and they worked it with them. They innovated and tried new things and made it successful. Then, 1959, there was an opportunity to move down to the waterfront. And so the waterfront's only a mile away, and there was a place called Norm's Landing that was available. And my grandfather worked out a deal for us to take that over and eventually closed Vista Seafood, and everybody went and worked down on the waterfront. And in Norm's Landing, they were trying all kinds of new things. Let's learn how to do smoked fish. Why don't we do live crab and lobster? Let's do shrimp cocktails. And it was pretty successful. But there was another situation going on the waterfront. There was a place called the Ports of Call restaurant, which opened, and they decided that they were going to kind of take after what Disney was doing at the time and build a theme park. So the Ports of Call Village, sort of a, I don't know how you describe it. The Ports of Call Village was sort of a northeastern style seafood like village that they built. So Ports of Call Village gets built. And it wasn't bad. If you ever watched The Love Boat on a Friday night during the 80s, that's exactly where the Love Boat left right in front of San Pedro Fish Market and the Ports of Call Village. Eventually, Ports of Call Village is built, and Norm's Landing is in the way. They got to go. So we had to work out a deal with our political friends and connections and the brand that we were building, and we were able to secure some space. So the Ports of Call Village was actually built around us, but Norm's Landing was still in the way. So we left Norm's Landing, Ports of Call Village is built, and we worked out of a parking lot for about a year and a half building what would become the San Pedro Fish Market and Restaurant. New concept, totally different than what we'd done before, getting into the restaurant business now. So now the whole family was working around the clock, and Tommy, my uncle, was just focused on getting open by Good Friday, 1982. He goes, "We're not going to sleep and we're not going home till this place is ready to open." And he did it. Good Friday, 1982, San Pedro Fish Market opens. And I would say it's an instant success. The problem was all the seating was outside and it rained the entire summer. It's the worst El Nino we had or had since. So we had to come up with some ways to innovate. How are we going to make this work? What is the secret to success here? We got 300 seats outside. Everybody in the family mortgaged their homes. We worked around the clock and we're about to fail. What did we do? We innovated. We started looking at what other restaurants were doing, looking at new trends, and we tried things that no one else was doing. And one of the things you started seeing popping up on local restaurants was something called fajitas. Bell pepper, tomato, onion, steak, chicken. Why don't we do it with shrimp and fish? We got plenty. So that's what we did. We came up with our own seasoning blend. We started creating these sort of fajita trays, and they became an instant hit. Then we added tortillas, we added red potatoes, we added garlic bread, and it evolved into what became the world-famous shrimp tray. People were traveling from all over to enjoy it. And eventually, the rain ended, right? So now we're successful. Things are going okay. But we don't have enough seats because we're getting so popular. So we acquired the Krusty Krab, which was a competing restaurant open right next to us, and we linked the seats. So as we got busier and busier and busier, we added more and more seats. Got to the point where we were sitting on 55,000 square feet of land with 3,000 seats. And that's kind of where I came in. I was working some different places, and I came back to work for the family. I'm like, you know what? We're not doing much to tell our story. There's this another threat popped up that they were going to redevelop the entire waterfront again. Ports of Call Village was kind of in disrepair. It hadn't been taken care of. The community wanted to change. So they picked a developer, and that developer was going to tear everything down, including San Pedro Fish Market, and build something new. And I realized people don't know what we're doing. We're so head down, butt up working. We weren't telling our story. People didn't know our history. They didn't even know who the owners of San Pedro Fish Market were. They just loved coming there every weekend. So now you got social media popping up, and I thought this is a great opportunity to start telling our story. And it's the more we told our story, the busier we got. Basically, over the course of 10 years with double-digit sales growth, we went from $10 million a year to $30 million. We went from serving a few 100,000 to 2 million customers annually. And we were selling 200 tons of shrimp. We were ranked by Instagram as one of the top 10 most Instagram restaurants for 3 years in a row. We're on CNN, Time Magazine. We were killing it. And then we started doing the Kings of Fish series, which really gave us the opportunity to tell our story and grow. And the goal was, these guys don't know who we are that are going to redevelop everything, but if we tell our story, and I was studying storytelling quite a bit at the time, maybe we can become irreplaceable. And that's ultimately what happened. So now you get all the way to 2022. We're killing it. We're having our best year ever. But we got to leave the building. We get the eviction notice because they're redeveloping the area, and San Pedro Fish Market needs to go the same way Norm's Landing did. So March 3rd of 2023, we leave the San Pedro Fish Market and the Krusty Krab. We bid them farewell. We watched the buildings get torn down. But in 60 days, because we're innovators, we work hard, and we never, ever give up, we found a space to move 100 yards away in a vacant parking lot that, ironically, used to be Acapulco's, ironically, because that's the restaurant where we learned about fajitas. How crazy is that? And so San Pedro Fish Market opened a temporary spot in a parking lot with about 900 seats in 60 days. And we've been there for 2 years while we plan to rebuild. And you know what? Even though we don't have as many seats and we're not doing the same numbers we did before, I would say that we're still in the top probably 40 restaurants. For reference, when we had our 3,000 seats and 55,000 square feet, we were in the top 10 for the highest grossing independently owned restaurants in the country. So now we're only in the top 40 because we're in a parking lot operating out of FEMA trailers with temporary bathrooms and temporary everything, really. Now, what are we doing next? We're going to move in. We're going to expand into that Acapulco spot. We're going to add some more seats, and we're going to be there for about 5 years with 1,800 seats, and we expect to be doing pretty well. And then what's going to happen to the future San Pedro Fish Market? They tore this building down. What's up with this temporary parking lot situation? Well, I signed a 49-year lease to rebuild, almost exactly where we were before. So in the next couple of years, you're going to see us come back on 55,000 square feet with a state-of-the-art building designed to handle millions of customers. Pretty exciting stuff. And in the meantime, another irony, I was worried about this was going to happen, so we started thinking, how can we expand? So we looked over in Long Beach, and there was a Joe's Crab Shack, and it was available. Signed a lease and reopened that. Sadly, we opened it, February 2020, about 6 weeks before the pandemic. But the irony of that whole location on the waterfront in Alamitos Bay, Long Beach, is that it was originally a Rusty Pelican. The same people that built the Port Sacal Village built that restaurant. The same reason we got evicted the first time. So now that's a very successful restaurant we have in Long Beach. And we just signed another lease in Monterey to open the San Pedro Fish Market on their historic Fisherman's Wharf in a 17,000 square foot restaurant. So I left a little something out. If you want to know what my grandfather was doing and why he started that original place, watch episode 1 of Kings of Fish. But I think really the moral of the story overall is that it took lots of perseverance, lots of innovation, and lots and lots and lots of blood, sweat, tears, and hard work. That was the secret for our success. I also add to that, never stop learning. Learn all the time. You need all the education you can get. And so the combination of the hard work, the education, and the perseverance and innovation, that's how we became successful. That's how we're continuing to grow. Thanks for listening to episode 3 of Fish Factor. I'm Mike Ungaro. I hope you enjoyed the story of the San Pedro Fish Market. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. You can also catch all the episodes of our Amazon Prime show, Kings of Fish, right here. For more, visit us at sanpedrofish.com and follow along on Instagram at sanpedrofish and at Kings of Fish. Next episode, I sit down with Kings of Fish executive producer Tim Wasmuth, my good friend. We'll talk about what it's like producing the show, his background, and what it's like having to deal with me and my family every day. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you then.